Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader at thetechtrader.com. It's Thursday, the 30th of June, the last day of the quarter and the halfway point this year. Markets had another big day. That's 3 in a row, recovering from the abyss of last Friday's Brexit vote. Let's take a look at some of the stocks that did well today, and you can see that AQMS, after consolidating, now some of us participated in this run-up it had in May, and then it had a pullback 1, 2, 3 wave corrective of holding trend line and 50-day moving averages right in there. The last 3 days in a row it's been up, but more importantly today it popped on a little bit lower volume. I'd like to see the volume come in a little bit heavier, but of course it did stick its head out above resistance, above that 1150-60 range, getting up to 1192 before settling into 1177. Now it's going to need more volume, but I think a retest of 1305 in that area is due. But it looks to me like this stock may be headed into the high teens. So 17, 18 zone, potentially a swing trade. And it is one of our swing trades. We had almost 3 days to cover short position. Now AVXL, the cancer drug company, which has been really volatile this year with a big 5-way move here, and then a plunge, snapback, retest, and then a long multi-month base. You can see the move in the last week has been huge, from 4 to 6, 50%. I'm looking for a test as quickly as tomorrow for that 6.5 range. We get through that, we could be looking at an $8.25 stock to test the December highs. About 8.15. That would be my target on this one going forward. And there is 8.5 days to cover. Nice base, potentially, and look at the OBV holding up very nicely. This could go. CETX, nice pop on news that they got another contract. The stock popped to 4. Actually traded as high as 420 pre-market, and backed off to the 362 range, settling in at 369. Up 22 cents today at 6.3%. Volume was nearly 1 million, the best volume in 6 sessions. Every time the stock pops, it's with good volume. Every time it pulls back, it's with low volume. The stock has all the makings of a big mover. I'm looking for 5, and that's my swing trade target. And then we'll see if we can get up towards 6. CLF, well, I haven't mentioned this or traded it in a few days, but take a look at the pop out of consolidation flag type pattern today. Now the spike high in end of April 28th, when it hit 583, nearly matched today with 570. If it gets above that 580-83 range, we may get there tomorrow, we could see a quick run to 7, and may even do much more than that with 5 days to cover on that one. Cypress Semi had a really nice pop of $1 or 10.5% today on 27 million. Now looking back on volume, that's the biggest volume on an up day going back to March of last year. So it's significant. And if you look at the overall structure, it's a big down move coming from the 17 range down. And then the stock basically had a V bottom with a right-handed extended V. This is wave 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 5. But and this could be wave 1. I think wave 2 is here. And we may be embarking on a move that could take this to the low teens, perhaps a run at this level where the resistance lies around the 12.5 range. My next target. EGHT acting great. It was an upgrade today. The stock is now at get this, the highest level reached on this stock way back since 2000. So we're looking at a 16-year high. And if you look at the overall structure of the channel, long-term channel, and then lateral price resistance in this zone here, that could be affecting current action at 16. That would be my short-term target, around 16. And then we're looking at 17, 17.5 up there. There's 4 days to cover on this one. This looks interesting. EXAS, beautiful pop today on big volume. Traded 10.5 million, the best volume in 3 weeks, as it spiked up to 1320. It did pull back almost a point, but it was still up 96 cents or 8.5%. Unfortunately, it didn't close well, but it was a really nice session for it. And let's not forget, it's come from 5 and change to as high as 13 just in the last 6 weeks. But I'm looking still for more. I'm looking for 15 and then 17. 5 days to cover. GIMO, really like the way this looks. We like the action. 1, 2, and then 3 is underway, which could get us into the 42-44 zone. Today up about 93 cents or 2.5%. Nothing special there except that recovery is looking very good, and I think we're headed, as I said, towards the top of the channel, bringing in around 43.4. MBLY with an explosive move on a big news today that they're doing a joint venture with BMW and Intel. Exploded all the way up to 49 before backing off to 46.14. It was still up 4.18, but it was up nearly 9 at one point. So look, a 10% gain on 16.7 million, nothing to sneeze at. I think it's one of those days when it was up too far too fast and it backed off but it's holding support. I think we're going to see 50, 52, maybe 55 in the stock as we go forward towards the top of the channel. 15 days to cover on MBLY. Mercury Computer Systems, I don't talk about too often, but it's been on my top 20 for a long time. Today it popped 85 cents at 3.5%, but it's right up against multi-year highs here. And if you take a look at the long-term chart, you'll see it's the highest level reached in 11 years. At this point, I would look for something to get up in the 31, 32 range, although it is at the top of the channel, so we'll have to see whether it accelerates or backs off. Either way, I'm looking for higher levels, $4 target. Nice action on NUGT today, popping up to a new high at 127.22 before backing off to 126.12, but it still was up 664. And looking at the action in here, it appears that if we can get it above by here, this could fly. 145 and 165 are potential targets if Nugget takes off. And golds are running, and so is silver. NVAX with a follow-through day, jumping about, well, it's just a dime at the close. It was up hard in that, but the feeling is now that it's broken through here, we're going to see a move to 8 and then 9, 9.5. That's L, and with 11.7 days to cover, could be interesting. RYI, boy, I haven't talked about this stock much in the last few months, but take a look at this move from 2.5 to 18. Man, what a move, 9-fold increase, and yet it doesn't look like it's done. This thing could be in the mid-20s before not too long. 3 days to cover on that one. SGY accelerating with volume. Today trading 4 million, best volume in a week, and making a new 3-month high. I think the resistance around 13.5 is next, followed by a move up towards the high teens, maybe 18. SIMO has been phenomenal this year. This is new all-time highs ever reached. And if you take a look at the pattern and the channel in here, although we're at some resistance in this level, it appears we could get towards 52 and maybe even highs in the mid to high 50s on this one with 3.2 days to cover. Silver Wheaton, the silver stock that's been in wave 5 right now, this looks like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this is 1, 2, 3. If we get 4 and 5, we could see 27 on Silver Wheaton. SSTK Shutterstock with a dramatic comeback from the big hit last week has jumped from the 39 range to 46.87 today and nearly matched a spike high. I'm looking for a stock to go to 52.3 on this one. 22.5 days to cover. I think the shorts are going to get squeezed. Look at the big volume today, 4.5 million shares. And Taser announced yet another contract with LA, and the stock jumped 66 cents, just 2.7%. But the key is that it's the highest level since last October and may very well test the spike up point around 26.5, my next target, followed by what could be around near 30. 12 days to cover on that one. Swing trade TDOC, well, it did back off earlier, and I told everyone that at that 1545 area to take a look at that for momentum play up towards 18. Well, we closed at 1602, a terrific close today on TDOC. Looks like it still has more to go. 14 days to cover on that. Tesaro, what a monster day yesterday, a beautiful follow-through today, another 65 or 8.5%, and the volume maintained itself pretty well at 6.3 million. It just looks like a stock that's headed for triple digits. 13.85 days to cover on that. New swing UGAS jumped another 274, 6.3% today. And you can see how this channel is telling me this may be 53 and even 65 going forward. Silver's rocketing it right now. USLV jumped $1.78 or almost 9%. 2.8 million traded. You can see the rising, sharply rising channel. The longer term channel says this is a $26, $7 stock. VUZI, how about that 4-day move? 520 to 760 and closing near the high end of the range. I think we got to follow through that test the 8.25 half zone. Fantastic, 7.85 days to cover. Lastly, Zencor, another move up today. That's 3 days in a row. This time only 48 cents or 2.6%, and it's up near resistance from the September high, which reached 1990. Should we get to that level, we may very well see 25. That's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening.